And I don't know how we've made 82 episodes, but we're back on a hump day.
Who? We're on 82.
Number 82.
Welcome back to the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose. As always, through that screen, through that camera, through into that room is Lawson underscore 1226. What's going on underscore?
I love how over like the past 2 weeks you've been using like my Twitter handle and then still going through the whole spiel at the end. This shit's hilarious.
I, you know,
Yeah, though, but
sometimes it's just I'm just too tired at the beginning and I don't know what to say.
hey man. So yeah, what's up? What's going on with you?
Dude, so before we get into the whackness of Wednesday
Yep.
or Wednesday whackness, dude. So first of all, I think we're in the middle of one of the greatest World Series ever.
I'm surprised we didn't need extra innings last night.
I know, man. I was kind of excited to stay up until 3 a.m. again. Um, dude. Speaking of that game,
Mm.
um, one of I think that may have been the single greatest baseball game I've ever seen.
Talking about Monday night
Um,
or yesterday?
yeah, yeah.
Yesterday,
You mean
yeah, yesterday being Monday. Yeah.
or no, Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning. It went into Wednesday morning. Or no, Tuesday morning. It went
Yeah.
into Tuesday morning. Yeah, we had two games on Tuesday. Because it went into the late hours of the night.
Mm.
And dude, so it was 5-5 after 7. They didn't score another run until the 18th, but it's not like it was a boring game. Like most of
Dude.
the time when you're saying that, like, yeah, it goes 15, 16, 17, 18 innings, you're like, fuck, dude, those extra innings were fucking boring as fuck.
Mm.
No action. Dude, there was getting gunned out at third, gunned out at home, bases loaded, needing a hit, getting out of it,
Yeah.
you know, deep fly balls that people thought were home runs. The broadcast thought, would start hyping it up and getting excited for a deep fly ball that would land on the warning track.
Mm.
Um, just pure excitement, man. And you know, usually there's like, when you watch a World Series, usually there'll be like an unsung hero. Like, have you ever heard of David Freese?
I know the David Freeze moment you're talking about.
Yeah, fuck
Yeah.
David Freese. But like
Why
shit
fuck
like that
David
happens.
Freeze?
A lot of times there's an unsung hero,
Mm.
and you're like, who the fuck is this guy? This one is unique because the stars are on display, man. There's not a cloud in the sky. You can see the constellations. I'm pretty sure, the ancient Japanese Empire is looking up in the stars and seeing Otani in there and Yamamoto and all these guys, their constellations, they see Godzilla right next to him, and I think Otani may be, a few feet taller than Godzilla. Um because if it's not Otani, it's Freddie Freeman getting it done.
Mm.
It's Mr. October the second, Teoscar Hernandez. It's Vladimir Guerrero on the other side. Like, baseball couldn't have asked for a better situation to try to boost their popularity.
Mm.
And having, Otani, I get it, he's 31, but Vlad's still in his, mid to late 20s. Bichette is still a young dude. Um, and they're getting it done, and I don't know how a casual sports fan or just someone flipping through that's like, oh, let me check out the World Series, is not going to become a fan after this World Series.
Dude, one of my buddies called me Monday night, and we were talking about whatever he was watching, and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Bro, I got the World Series on." He's like, "Oh, I forgot that's on tonight. What's the score? Wait, don't tell me." And it was like 5-5 in the 11th. He said, "This shit's still going?" And
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, dude, and
And he
there's
still got to watch a whole baseball game.
dude for real, and it's even more funny too for the simple fact of you brought up great points where whenever those games, go on for so long, it's a lot of, all right, just 1, 2, 3 innings. Someone
Mm.
hits a single, immediate ground ball double play, and nothing's really happening. But like, for the simple fact of you had Vladdy, the two highlight plays from Vladdy didn't even involve his bat. It
Right.
was the it was
Smoothest slide ever.
bro, one of the smoothest slides. Scoring from first. Who I whenever he's a thick boy, so I call him Vladdy the Fatty. But two
Actually,
C's,
yeah, probably multiple C's, dude.
bro.
Probably multiple.
But once again, them thick boys got heavy bats. So and him scoring all the way from first, and then the second half of the same inning, Shohei home run and we're tied again. Just like you said, I think there were two people gunned down at the plate. Vladdy's other fantastic play was his infield,
Mhm.
zipping it over to third. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
And like there was the crazy play Tommy Edman made where I don't remember who it was, hits a rocket, Freddie jumps up, tries to grab it, hits off his glove, and Tommy Edman runs over, slides, picks it up, zooms it over to third. I'm like, instead of runners on the corners with one out, it's
I think
like,
yeah, I think it was Teoscar that he gunned out at third. I'm not sure.
no,
But
no, I was talking about who the Dodgers gunned down at third.
yeah. Oh no. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Teoscar, he
Yeah, it was
used to
one
be a
Vlad.
Blue.
Yeah. And it makes me like, and I don't remember if I brought this up on the show, but I remember I was talking to my dad about it. I was like, could you imagine if, because this is Kershaw's last, World Series,
Hmm.
could we see him come in as like a closer or like an opener? And then it was funny because like he came in at what, like the 14th, 15th, whatever inning it
Yeah,
was.
for
Um,
one batter. Yeah.
and it
But I
might
think it was
it,
bases loaded. Was it bases loaded?
it might have been the 11th inning too, because Will Klein, and we'll get to him here in a second,
Yeah.
but like when in like the eighth, it showed him, I think the camera first beamed over to the Dodgers bullpen, and Kershaw was, just stretching out his arm, and then in the eighth he was, getting some BP practice in. But yeah, dude, when he came out in the 11th, I was like, for someone who has historically been dominant player, and then in the postseason just kind of crumble a little bit, I'm like,
Mhm.
I for someone who I thought the Dodgers were going to, win the series since, Seattle got taken out, but for the historian of sports and games and baseball and stuff like that, I was really hoping that he just get one out. Just
Yeah.
get one out, and it took like 6 pitches, but he got that one out. And if that's the last time, because I don't see them starting him in any game, especially if they win or lose to, well, obviously they're either gonna win or lose tonight. But in game 6 or 7, they're not gonna start him. So it's like, if that is the last thing that we see of Clayton Kershaw in the MLB, it's coming out of the bullpen. I think they said on the telecast he had never been in like he had never come out in any extra innings in his
Yeah.
postseason career, or it might have been his in the totality of his career. But the fact that he came out bases loaded and got one out, it's like, that's
Yeah, pressure situation,
dude.
comes up clutch. Um, and yeah, dude, and then on the other side, dude, you have Max Scherzer, who, I don't think from. So they were talking about someone yesterday on the yesterday's broadcast, and I
Mhm.
think they were talking about Scherzer, how Scherzer hasn't really pitched well lately. He's
Yeah.
kind of might be a little bit washed up, but he still gave him, 4 1/3, and did what he needed to do to kind of save some of the bullpen. I mean, no one could have predicted the game would have been 18 innings and a combination of, I think, 19 pitchers. There was a combination of 37 people left on base, both postseason records.
I think there was
Ohtani,
106 batters and like 560 pitches or something
there
crazy.
was 609 pitches. The
Insane.
game lasted 6 hours and 39 minutes.
Mm,
Uh, Ohtani goes 4 for 4, 2 home runs, 2 doubles, the first player in history to have 4 extra base hits in a World
and
Series
was
game.
on
He goes,
base 9 times.
he gets on base 9 times with 4 intentional walks. That's like some Barry Bonds type shit, dude. You get walked 3, 4 times and you hit a home run, but this guy had 4 fucking hits. And then the walk that wasn't intentional, they it was clearly they pitched around
Mm-hmm.
him, just to see if he would swing at something, shitty outside the strike zone. Um, and then you have Freddie Freeman doing Freddie Freeman things, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I saw that yesterday someone posted on X, like, people will post like, oh, insert player, name the NBA version of Freddie Freeman. And the best one I saw, man, the best comparison of Freddie Freeman that I saw over on that comments, because I was like, I had a couple players in mind. The best one I saw was Ray Allen.
That's a
Just,
good one.
he wins a championship with the Celtics. Freeman won a championship with the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
Comes over, wins another championship or two, I think, with the Dodgers. And
Ray Allen won one with
Ray
the Heat. Yeah.
Allen with the Celtics Heat, you're right,
Mm-hmm.
and Allen was a all-star some seasons. Freeman same, and he's just steady. And Freeman might not be the guy, but
Mm-hmm.
he's in your top three all the time. And he former MVP, and he's kind of one of those dudes that just shuts up and plays ball, dude. It seems like a nice dude. And you root for him. He's one of those guys that you like, and for him to hit that home run in the 18th and send them off with a 2-1 victory at the
Mm-hmm.
time, or a 2-1 series
Yeah.
lead at the time, was huge.
Something that
Um,
something that was really interesting to me, that this was tied the longest World Series game ever, because of the Dodgers Red Sox series where Max Muncy hit that walk off home run.
back in 2018,
What's even more
same
funny
game three too,
what's
same
e-
stadium
What's
too.
even more funny, it was the same situation, 3-2 count, nobody on, nobody out, and I was like, that's a crazy coincidence. And if I looked distracted maybe 90 seconds ago, I saw something this morning on TikTok that it was a very interesting thing. It says Blue Jays manager John Schneider is intentionally walking Shohei Ohtani so he can get to 8-time All-Star MVP future Hall of Fame Mookie Betts, followed by 9-time All-Star MVP future Hall of Famer Freddie Freeman.
Right.
And it says, and we're all just like, yeah, that's probably the right move. It's like
Yeah.
people forget, like, Shohei leads off. You know who's behind him? 8-time
Right.
All-Star MVP,
Right.
3-time World Series champ. It's like there's that top of the order is so there's really nowhere you can hide anybody,
Hmm.
because even if in baseball, you break up your 1 through 3, 4 through 6, 7 through 9. They're all divisible by 3. Those are your, okay. These three, these three, these three. All three at least have one guy that can kill you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And then, you mentioned, this year's World Series, David Freese right now is Will Klein. Like, Will Klein
Bro,
coming in for
Jesus Christ.
over 4 innings,
Double the amount of
5
pitches he's
strikeouts.
ever thrown, more innings than he's ever thrown, and I think he was in a bases loaded jam too. And
Yeah.
they were gonna pull him, and
He was
it's
like, keep me out here. He's like, I'm getting through this. Yeah, absolutely. And so
insane.
this dude, whether I've never heard of this guy before. This and probably most people, haven't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how old he is. I'm not sure how long he's been in the league, but He's never pitched more than 30 pitches or something or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, and you know, whether this guy goes on to be the next Andrew Miller or if the guy goes on to be, the next Joel Zamaya, which is, just a flash in the pan, he's always going to have this memory of being in the longest World Series game or tying the longest and going 4+ innings of shutout baseball against one of the top offenses in baseball and completely shutting him down. So it's a very cool story for him. And then, like we said, the All-Star, the former MVP, Freddie Freeman coming
Yeah.
through with a, you know, home run in the bottom of the 18th to walk him off.
It's so funny too,
Again,
looking back
probably the
at it.
greatest game. I'm still recovering. That's why I'm still yawning because I'm
Yeah.
still recovering of the late night yesterday.
It's so funny too that it tied with the game in 2018 because I don't know if you remember, but who came out of the bullpen and pitched six shut down innings in relief, got all the way to the 18th. Nathan Eovaldi came out of the
Mhm.
bullpen, and do I think Will Klein's going to turn into the next Nathan Eovaldi? No, but it's a resemblance, scenario now. The Red Sox ended up coming up, on the losing side of that 2018 18 inning game, but it's just like once again for the team that entering the postseason, it's what could prevent the Dodgers from going back to back? Well, their bullpen's not very good. Well, it's
Yeah.
been good enough through 4 games to be tied, and
Yep.
because their starting pitching's been ridiculous.
Right. And then, you have last night's game. It wasn't as exciting. I'm glad it didn't go 18, and I'm glad I got to sleep.
Mm,
But, again, the stars come out to shine. Vlad Guerrero hitting a 3-run homer, biggest hit of the game, and they never look back. So, the Toronto Blue Jays were able to tie up the series 2-2,
mm.
and I just hope to God that this series goes 7 games because
Dude,
it,
baseball would we need it.
it's yeah, it's this may be the greatest World Series matchup in recent history or, close to ever if it goes 7 and it continues to be like this.
If it goes
Um,
7 and is this close, the only thing that could be any resemblance to me is the Cubs Indians in 2016.
yeah,
That's like the
yeah.
because you have, and once again, you want to talk about Game 7 heroics. Rajay Davis hitting the 2-run tying homer in the what was it, the top of
Over
the ninth?
Tiger.
What was it, the top of the ninth, top bottom of the eighth,
Yeah,
whatever it was.
yeah.
It's
Off
just like
off the foul pole, right? Or the fair pole.
I remember it was like right down the line. So
I think it
and
was off.
hmm and speaking of Shohei, before we cycle on, here's a funny story. So one of my buddies, he texted me during the game. It was at like the, I don't know, second to third last time that Shohei got intentionally walked, and he was like, "Can they pitch to Shohei? I want to go to bed and I don't want to sleep because I'm invested in this game." And I'm like, I said they won't, but they might because at the time they had a lefty in the game. And he texted me. He said Shohei's a plus 375 to get walked. I said you better put the house on it. You better put the rent on
Yeah.
it. And then he said I got it at a plus 150. He put like $20 on it for whatever the
hmm
odds were. And then they intentionally walked him, and we're all like, bang, easy. And then he texted me. He said they voided it, and I'm like, oh, you're about to sue. He said, bro, I'm so pissed. And he texted me. You know what? I'll read it. He texted me the communication of him talking to their bot, and their bot or person, whoever it was, their assistant's dude name was Jed, Jed. So shout out to Jed who works for Hard shout out to Jed who works for Hard Rock. He said, "Thank you for comparing. Upon checking, the bet was voided in accordance with their house rules. Plate appearance result exact will be canceled on an intentional walk." And then I said, "Damn, they really hit you with the. You're lucky we even gave you your money back. Get fucked."
Yeah,
And
fucking
and then
hard on Jed.
and then he sent me another screenshot of Jed sending him like the link to their please see our house rules under baseball plate appearance result exact. And my bro texted back, he said terrible look. And Jed said, I hear you and I understand how frustrating it feels. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or clarify, let me know. I'm here to help. And I said they really hit you with the you ain't read the fine print.
Oh yeah, they did.
Bro, and it was even more
No
funny.
refunds.
I was gonna say all they did was void it and give him his $20 back.
That was intense too, man. Especially if you put the house on it, like, oh, I want to put like $500 on this shit because they just keep walking.
And you check and they just give you your 500 back. You're like, bitch, are you
Yeah,
serious? Dude, it was so funny because once again, then they intentionally walked him again, and then they 4-pitch walked him again, which
yeah,
arises the controversy of, are you cool with them just intentionally walking somebody 18 times in a row?
yeah. Absolutely, man. You don't
See,
want to face somebody like, dude, we did this in softball. We like so if you listen to the 64-bit Legends podcast and
mhm.
you follow us, one of our extended family over at the Legends, Y2 Drew, he is a softball god, dude. Like he is the best softball player I've ever seen play, and I've played for 18 years. The guy was tested as far as having the fastest hands in Michigan as far as a softball player. He's won countless home run derbies. He's like he's
Bro's insane.
phenomenal.
He's the Barry
So
Bonds.
we played against him and we walked him with bases loaded because
Yeah,
like when we didn't, he just hit a walk-off grand slam and I was like, that's cool.
dude.
So yeah, we would do the same thing. We just take the bat out of his hand, man. Like you can
Because
only do so many damage just standing on first, right?
uh
But
huh.
speaking of Shohei, dude, I think I don't know if we'll ever see another player like this. I mean, when you're bringing up stats from like 1920,
Are you prepared to call him the boat, the best of all
dude,
time?
I I am almost like he is. I was thinking about this after that 18 inning game, and I'm like, we are witnessing history. I sound, and I don't want to sound like this. I don't want to sound like a mark, and I don't want to sound like I'm kissing the dude's ass or whatever. But like, he is
Or
legit.
being a
Like maybe
prisoner of the moment?
right. He may be the greatest baseball player ever to face, ever to step on the earth, dude. Like
Dude,
the,
it's
the John Smoltz was explaining, and John Smoltz does a great job with these World Series games because
oh,
he gives you
dude,
insight
his
on,
coverage on Fox of just his insight when I'm so happy that because once again I'm still getting my toes wet in terms of being like a hardcore baseball watcher, and it's like
yeah,
his coverage because whenever I watch sports that I know, I watch with the sound off because I want to
mhm,
read all that stuff. But for a sport like baseball or for hockey, I like to hear what some of the analysts or play-by-play guys say,
yeah.
and he does an excellent job at Fox.
I mean, for the fact that he brought up that Otani can't because Otani started game four.
Hmm.
Yeah, he didn't do bad. He just he let up the home run against Vlad and then his day was kind of done. But I mean, can you blame him? He's up till fucking 3 a.m. Eastern time.
It's even more
They got
crazy
to
too
put him
because
in the game. Like,
he started the seventh.
right. And so yeah, and he went into the seventh inning. So but Smoltz pointed out something that people probably don't realize happened.
Hmm.
This guy cannot mentally prepare for his starts. Like there is no preparation. There's like, okay, you're out there. He's playing every other day. And when who started for Toronto last night?
Bieber.
Yeah. So Shane Bieber, he's got days to prepare for the lineup. He can watch tape and he's watching the opposing, batters on the iPad or whatever and getting a feel on, where to pitch it, what to do, sequencing, all this stuff.
Shohei is
Shohei
watching tape
is
from the
watching the
dugout.
opposing pitcher.
Yeah.
He's not even looking at like it's amazing. Like I feel like, people if people don't realize what we're witnessing, they're
Mm,
taking it for granted because this dude has pitched longer than Babe Ruth. He's hitting at the same time. Babe Ruth pitched and then he hit. He did not do both at the same time.
right,
People don't know that. People do not realize that he did not do both of them at the same time. He's doing two, like no wonder he's making over $500 million or whatever the hell because he's playing two positions. Like
right,
he's doing double the work of everyone else. I mean, yeah, he doesn't play the field and that's fine. But he also provides speed on the base path. Like he's he's a great base stealer. He's got speed. He's a good base runner. He's a phenomenal pitcher, and he's one of the best hitters in the league. It's
mm,
crazy to think that this guy is like out of the 140 years of baseball, let's call it. It's crazy for it to think that we get the chance to see this guy play. And to me, it seemed, it is like watching Babe Ruth. It is like watching like Ty Cobb or Lou Gehrig, guys that you just hear about. Like this guy, I'm hoping my nephew, who is 16 years old, in 50 years, he's telling his grandsons that or grandkids that he got to watch Shohei Ohtani play because that's how good this guy is, and he's still got 9 years in him because they mentioned yesterday that he wants to play till he's 40. I guess he had like some weird, not weird, but like a journal.
mm,
When he was a kid, like literally like writing off his goals, to down to the point of, what age he wanted to get married at. And,
mm.
so he said he wanted to play professional baseball till he's 40. And so that's what they kind of predict that he's going to do. But he is the best baseball player on the planet and probably the
It's
best player on the planet in the last 100 years. I mean, it's who would you say the best baseball player of all time is? Barry Bonds?
I, it's
Just
so
for that
funny.
number?
It's so
Like,
funny you asked that because I was talking to my dad a couple months ago about this because I was talking to one of my friends and my friend does roofs and and his driver, he's a big baseball guy and he's an Oakland Athletics fan, so and my buddy's not a baseball guy, and so
they're not the Oakland Athletics.
anyways,
They're
so
the Athletics,
yes, they are the Athletics,
formerly residing in
and
Oakland. Now they
they're
play in Sacramento. So
they
just get that straight.
okay, he's an Athletics fan. Is that better?
Okay.
Does that work?
The
And
the the magazine or the article website or the team?
the team.
Okay. Just
Okay,
I
cool.
didn't know if you said the Athletic or Athletics. So I'm just
Yes,
clarifying.
the Athletics who currently play in Sacramento, who used to play in Oakland. Is that better?
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Now everything is clear.
As long as we're on the same page. And once
Yes.
again, my buddy's not a baseball guy, so he was just asking his driver was just talking. He said Ricky Henderson's the goat. I don't. And my buddy's like, who the fuck is that? And because he he's not a baseball guy. So and when he was asking me about it, he said, yeah, my driver told me Ricky Henderson's the goat. I said Ricky Henderson's great, but he's not like in the goat conversation. So the reason why I say that is I was talking to my dad about, I was like, hey, who do you think's like just who's the best, who's the goat? And
Hmm.
because he's a baseball historian, and so he was like, okay, well, let me ask you this: who do you think is the goat? And I was like, probably Barry Bonds. He's the it just in terms of just pure power, and even before he was on the steroids or whatever, bro, was you know X-time MVP, Gold Glover, all that jazz,
He
and
had two Hall of Fame careers.
dude, for real. And then my dad brought up the point and was like, well, my dad thinks Pete Rose is the goat. Hit and once again, good arguments, all-time hits leader. And then what was really interesting is my dad was like, I want you to look up what the number of total bases is, like how close it is, because Barry Bonds is hitting home runs, that's 4 bases, and
Yeah.
surprisingly, like, I think Barry Bonds had more, but it was really it was scary on how close it was when Pete Rose wasn't hitting 700 home runs.
Right. And Barry Bonds in one season, I think, had like 120 intentional walks. So,
yeah,
yeah,
and
that.
yeah, and then so it was really interesting to me. But yeah, if you were to ask me like right now, I would say it's Barry Bonds. But give it another year, 2 years, and I mean, it's one of those is Tom Brady's the goat. But after Mahomes like second Super Bowl, it's like okay, we're witnessing probably who would go down as the goat. And then
Right.
and I revitalized that by saying I was asked a couple weeks ago, with the World Series and baseball going on, hey Lawson, is Shohei better at hitting or pitching? And I'm like, that's a great
Both.
question because the last year where he couldn't pitch because he tore it was his UCL or something in his elbow, and all he did was hit. He was the first person to hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases. So
Right.
if he were to just be a pure hitter, he'd probably be the best hitter in baseball. If he was just a pure
Yeah.
pitcher, you could probably make an argument he'd be one of, if not the best pitchers in baseball.
Right.
So he's a top five, arguably top three at both at the same time.
Yeah. And to, this is one guy, you don't hope, injuries on anyone, but this guy I hope it stays healthy with the, all the wear and tear on his body that he's going to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
if he continues to do both throughout his career, which I definitely think he can. And, um it's almost better that he's of Asian descent because it seems like they kind of keep care of their body a
They're
little
more
bit better than us,
durable.
right?
They're more
So
durable.
they have better diets, they have
Mm-hmm.
better routines, discipline, a lot of things better than than
Was
the American people.
hold
But
on. Wasn't it Ichiro that he was eating a banana before the game, and some reporter asked him, "How come you're eating a banana before the game?" He was like, so I won't cramp." And then I think he asked the reporter, "Do you know who else eats bananas? Who? Monkeys. Monkeys don't cramp." And so he's just eating a banana and reiterating this to a reporter. I'm like, of course Ichiro's fucking little goofy ass would ask him, "Do you know why I'm eating banana? Monkeys eat bananas. Monkeys don't get cramps." And I'm like, you know what? When you put it like that, that's a great point.
it made a good point,
Sh-
dude. But
sh-
yeah, I
shit
mean,
makes sense to me.
it's um by the end of it, dude, Shohei is gonna be. It's gonna, people are gonna be like, okay, name the greatest baseball players of all time. It's gonna be like Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Barry
And
Bonds,
then
Shohei was.
like you could make an argument like he's already on like the mount, like if you just take pure accolades away, because
Mhm.
obviously he would have to win X amount of MVPs, which he probably can, or X amount of World Series. But if you were to just strip away all accolades and just do like pure
Mhm.
stats, yeah, he's in just pure eye test and play on the field. Yeah, he's already on the Mount Rushmore, and it's insane
Right.
because
No one affects the game like he does right now,
it's
or
ridiculous.
has, in decades.
When he
But
was continue.
I was just gonna say, if he's pitching and hitting at this high of a level,
Mm-hmm.
how do you select a different MVP? Like he should win MVP every single season. Should he win Cy Young? No,
Yeah,
but
I was about to say there's your question, and the fact that he's in the National League, I mean, who's really his competition for MVP every year?
right.
Unless someone super young arises, because Bryce Harper's getting old.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of other. I mean, unless Pete Armstrong, who's a young up and coming superstar, unless he explodes, because he was in the MVP race, to start
Right.
Jackson Churio of the Brewers, if or insert random young star or
Hmm.
aging superstar that could light it up. Like Schwarber, I thought had a good conversation, good argument. Only problem
Yeah.
is Shohei is in your conference. That's the
Right.
only problem.
Right.
Shohei will be the reason why so many people don't end up with MVPs.
Hmm. It's like, they say Michael Jordan could have won MVP almost every single year that he actually played, and there was a lot of voter fatigue, and they were like handing it off to other people. Man, that I hope, part of me hopes that happens to spread the wealth, but the other part of me, and probably the more dominant side of me, wants Shohei to win it every fucking year and just show his dominance. And
It's kind of like
we're
how
we're all witnessing something special, and we have to realize that right now.
hmm to cross sports, it's kind of like how Victor Wembanyama is going to be for like defensive player of the year, because the defensive player of the year award the record is 4. I'm not exaggerating. Assuming he plays a 65 game benchmark, he could win the next 10 like defensive player of the
Mhm.
years. Like example, um
Snapping.
dude, like the game he played the other night against Dallas, like Dallas has the best front court in the league size wise, and he dropped 40, 15, and no turnovers and block. Like there's been 4 total quadruple doubles. And no one's had multiple. I would not put it past him to have 2 this year.
Yeah.
He already had a 9 block game and he fouled out in.
Hmm.
Like we're witnessing 2 players, like what Shelly is doing both ways, and what just we're seeing things across sports that is there are things that we just haven't seen before, and I feel
Yeah.
like we're not reacting the right way as to how hype and awesome
Right.
and sensational it is, because it's like, oh, we don't want to be a prisoner of the moment. Like, no, this is a one of one character doing one of
Yeah.
one things.
These are two video game my player characters.
Dude,
Like,
it's for
you
real.
know, and they're real, and it's like I said, man. Major League Baseball could not ask for a better World Series to display their stars. Like
Hmm.
that was a big thing about their marketing, and why the sport's popularity was down. They just didn't know how to do it, and this is doing it for them. It's like I said, man, it's cool to see, the unknown dude get the game winning hit and becoming the World Series MVP, and you never heard of him. But you know what's also cool is we have this guy who's better than 99.99999999999 repeating forever percent of the players who've ever played this game
Dude,
playing right now.
it's
And then on the other side, you have Vlad Guerrero, you have Bo Bichette, you have, these young dudes doing it, and, Bichette's going to be a free agent. Where's he going to go? He's probably not going to stay in Toronto. I would probably give him less than a 5% chance of staying in Toronto because they just paid Vladdy. They were on opposite ends of negotiation anyway,
mm,
and, he's probably going to walk. But you know, Vlad's got personality. Bichette is great. Of course, Otani, Freeman, Mookie Betts. I just feel like I'm repeating myself at this
the
point.
the only thing that could have been a better like brand World Series was the one that was last year. Now it ended
Right.
up not being a World Series because the Dodgers wiped the Yankees.
Yeah.
Which once again, if that series would have gone 7, then it would have been biggest of the modern era of baseball. You have the 2 biggest brands of the past 5-6 years going head to head. But once again,
But
when
even with the, not to interrupt you, but
yeah,
with the Yankees, I think it would be less than. I think last year's was less than because
oh it
people
yeah, I agree
people
with you.
people
But I'm
hate
just
the
talking about
Yankees.
say what?
People hate the Yankees. They're like the Cowboys. They're like people hate the Yankees if you're not in New York. Like
Yeah,
they don't want to see the Yankees win. So like even though we get to see Judge on the biggest stage and Stanton and insert your Yankee Garrett Cole, whoever, people don't want to see them because they've won so much and you're just like those damn Yankees. Like
yeah.
there's it's a saying for a reason. And I think with the Blue Jays being in it, I think that even puts more emphasis and more excitement onto this World Series than if it was, someone like the Yankees or the Mets
Mhm.
or, a big market team. I mean, don't get me wrong, Toronto I think had the fifth largest payroll in the league.
Yeah.
But it's Canada. They haven't been there for 30 some years. Since Joe Carter hitting the walk-off in the early 90s, and like I said, they got the personalities. Like they have it's a fun World Series for people like me who have no dog in the fight, minus like me and you saying like, oh, who do you think is going to win the World
Yeah.
Series? So, um, for a casual to a non-casual to a great baseball fan, like this series has a little bit of everything for everyone. And like I said, like I'm so glad Joe Buck's not doing this shit. I'm glad John Smoltz is on it, giving us a great analytical behind the scenes peek of what a player like Shohei goes through, or just little these tidbits that you're like, oh man, I just didn't think about before.
Yeah, it's really. And once again, I agree with you that this World Series has been obviously better than last year, but I was, talking about, two markets and, like the brands. Because once again,
Yeah.
the Dodgers have been your insert babyface since, like the 2018-17,
Mm,
era. And the Yankees have been, just the old guard, always, semi in the hunt. And then they finally get back to the World Series. So, it's your you know, you can walk down insert random street, you're gonna find a Yankees hat or someone who's just a Yankees fan because they are the one of the biggest brands in baseball. But yeah,
mhm.
I this World Series has been nothing short of awesome, and it's even more funny because two of the games have been just Blue Jays blowouts.
Yeah. And still, like, I mean, it's like the one game got out of control in like the sixth or whatever when they had
And,
like 9 runs.
dude, it was
But like
fucking
even then,
crazy.
dude, like at least there's excitement as far as scoring. Both
Hmm.
teams are putting up runs. Like even if it's a blowout, okay, like you get to see some, like good hitting, because the casual baseball fan would rather see runs than
A pitching
a
duel,
pitcher's
yeah.
duel. Yeah. And like me, I like a pitching duel. As long as like there's some excitement, like I said, the game that went to 18, the last 12 inning or 11 innings, there was no score, but there,
There were
there was
base
guys
runners
out at third.
everywhere.
Yeah, there was base runner, 37 base runners left on. I mean,
Hmm.
and for Otani to go reach base 9 times, first time in postseason, I think there was something. Yeah, I think the four extra base hits, he became either the
Yep.
first or second player to do that, and it hasn't been done since like 1906 or something. Like it's just unbelievable, man, unbelievable. When you're in the same graphic as some dudes, with
In the
black and white
I was
photos,
about to
and
say
they're like,
in the black and white era, yeah.
yeah, they're kind of turning brown because they're so old. Yeah, you're doing something special, dude.
It's amazing to really see this, and it's great to be a sports fan because obviously with the NBA being back, and you're seeing like, oh, there's the next generation of young superstars in the
Mhm.
NBA, and it's like with it being also the World Series, it's like, well, Shohei is not he's not new anymore, but he is it's it's hard to put into words as to how he's continuing to develop, because it seems that even though he's been excellent, he's still somehow just scratching the surface.
Yeah. Absolutely. And for the fact that he had like a major league career in Japan before this,
Hmm.
and then he's doing it here, and he's probably got about 9 more years in him. Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch though, the rest of his career, and especially the rest of this series. And
Hmm.
I'm just hoping to go. I'm hoping we get 3 more games of this.
I mean, once again, someone's got to win tonight. Then it's a do or die Friday
Is
for
it tonight?
for yeah. The MLB does the 2-3-2 format, so it's
Hmm.
two in
Yeah,
Toronto, skip a
Friday,
day,
Saturday.
three in, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
so who's hold on, I'm about to check who's pitching tonight. Or yeah. So tonight
Probably
start
Blake Snell.
is yeah, it's Blake Snow and Trey Savage.
Yeah.
So
All right.
that'll be interesting, especially since Blake Snell was not. Listen, Blake Snell was cruising until that sixth inning, and it just went, kind of straight down
Yeah.
the hill. But there's always the I don't know. There's always the interesting of it's Blake Snell, and that
Yeah.
funky lefty can, that little white ball moves in strange ways. So I don't know. It's also great to see like that the offenses are still, up to par, because
Hmm.
when there are two teams that are, some of the best just pure offenses in baseball, it's really hard to replicate it series after series after series.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're still, up in arms. One of the things that we didn't even touch on the 18th inning, if it would have went to the 19th, Yamamoto was coming back in that game,
Oh yeah.
which is
Yeah.
insane because he
Absolutely.
just pitched a complete game 48 hours before on a,
Right.
he just threw 106 and is just like, whatever you need me to do.
Yeah.
And
I got it, man.
there's the resurfaced tweet that continues to come up every time Yamamoto has like just a crazy, game. Someone tweeted out when they first signed him. Uh, someone tweeted out, I was like, how could you give somebody $375 million who hasn't pitched once in the MLB yet?
Mhm.
And that tweet resurfaces every time, he goes a complete game, or
Yeah.
one of those 8 inning 10K performances, and it's like, this is why
Right.
this is why they invested, $300 million into someone who back to back complete games. It's insane, dude.
So who you got winning tonight?
I think it goes 7. I think the Dodgers win tonight, and then the Blue Jays ride a really hot crowd on Friday.
It's because it's gonna be interesting because no team, neither team has won back-to-back games yet. So I'm like, okay, like in baseball, it's unique because you can ride that momentum into the next game. So like, I'm like, okay, do the Blue Jays win tonight are the first team to win back-to-back in
Well,
this series?
the Dodgers actually won game 2 and 3, so there's your back to back. Anyways, as you were saying,
Anyway, next segment.
I I was thinking
That's
of
expected.
right when you said that, I was like, huh?
The Blue Jays won game one.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, never mind. I got them mixed up.
yeah. But I was gonna say, we get your point. Bless you, bless you 3 times. One more.
Thanks. We're live.
I was gonna say,
Ugh.
you did the finger. I was like, do we have a fourth?
Yes.
There it is.
Fuck.
Bless you. That's
Oh my God. Ugh. Ugh.
oh, that's funny.
We're
Um,
live.
we are live because we don't have a show tomorrow. Do you want to preview the Thursday night game, or do you think it's just gonna be ass kicking one way?
I don't even know what the Thursday night game is.
It is Baltimore with Lamar coming back in Miami.
Dude, Miami's winning.
As a Steelers fan, that would be fucking hilarious.
What's the spread?
Baltimore's favored by a 7.5.
Oh, 7.5. I was gonna say if it's double digits, man, I would take Miami all day.
Oh, dude,
But
it it makes me laugh because once again, Miami fucked up a lot of people's slips over the weekend due to them beating the dog piss out of Atlanta, which it's even more funny because there was a report that came out yesterday that Kirk Cousins wants to be traded and wants to try and start somewhere. I'm like,
mhm.
well, Kirk, you didn't really put much good. You didn't really put up a lot of good tape. I mean, in theory, you could there be a a Vikings reunion? I don't know. Maybe I was talking to one of my buddies who's a Vikings fan, and he said, "Don't you wish that shit on me?" And I'm like, damn. I thought Kirk O'Chains was kind of putting shit on in Minnesota.
Dude, yeah, I mean that could be, but
They need
the
a quarterback.
right, but don't wouldn't the team have to take on like huge salary?
Not if Atlanta. I mean, Kirk's not. He's making 20 like $7 million.
Hmm.
So nothing crazy, but I
I
don't
thought it
know.
was more
And
than
then with
that.
huh?
I thought it was more than that.
He signed for more, but because of the year we're on the deal,
Hmm.
it was front loaded. But yeah, it's that's an interesting domino effect that could fall. But yeah, I think Baltimore finally has like not their mojo back, but like getting Lamar back is such like a and it's Miami. They're already not good,
Yeah,
and
for if you're looking at the up down theory, Miami, blowing Atlanta out on Sunday, yeah, they're probably gonna struggle Thursday,
mm,
um, or tomorrow. So yeah, I would probably take Baltimore minus the 7.5.
yeah. The only
Like I
thing
said,
is,
if it was like 11, I would probably take Miami.
yeah, I, Miami's just one of those bad teams that it's like they're just really bad. However, like they have the Atlanta game where they're dead last in rushing yards allowed, and they hold Bijan to. Now I don't know if it was a mixture of holding Bijan and him just not getting touches, but I think he had like 9 carries for 32 yards, and it's like
Hmm.
I don't know. Derrick Henry could kind of just mush some dudes into the ground.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just mush people into the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that I think that this whole last weekend slate too was just kind of nuts because I know for Monday we didn't really talk about it outside my
Dude, I,
Steelers.
I didn't watch like any football, man. Like it's been nice because I haven't had any money on it, so I don't have to pay attention, and I don't care. My Lions were on a bye.
Yeah, and they got
And
a
to enjoy my weekend, I like having the Lions on these primetime games because again, I don't have to check into football on Sunday, and I can just fucking chill and do whatever I need to do.
I was gonna say because y'all got a
And
divisional game on Sunday.
I know against those Minnesota Vikings, it ain't,
Who
it
who
ain't
had
gonna be easy, man.
who have no quarterback.
I know.
I mean, unless
Justin Jefferson might play quarterback. Don't he want out too now?
nah, they're paying him way too much money for him to want out. What's really funny though about people making too much money, well not too much because you, you are worth whatever someone is willing to pay you. That's how much you're worth.
Yep,
That's how much you're worth.
exactly.
Myles Garrett, had that crazy 5 sack performance, but they got destroyed.
Hmm.
And
That must feel nice.
they were asking him after the game, does it feel, how does it feel, to have another performance? And Myles Garrett, you can see the rumblings of, you ask me this every week, and and he said I'd trade that performance away for a win, and I'm like, there's a picture of him like on the bench all the way at the end by himself, and I'm like, Mr. Garrett, you requested a trade from these Browns. They offered you $40 million, and you took it.
Yeah,
I have no sympathy for players like that.
right,
You request a trade and want out because you want to win. I have no problem with that. That is your right to request out of whatever bumfuck situation you're in. I get it. Tip my cap. But the fact then you resign, once you resign, you can't complain. I don't want to hear it.
right,
I don't want to hear it because clearly you will take some losses if you're getting that check.
right. It's
And
like it's like people like me, like not like okay, so like let me explain because okay, so I am not registered to vote.
right.
I have never voted in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not complain about anything politics wise. I don't care who's in office. I don't care their policies. I don't fucking care at all. You will
Mm-hmm.
never hear me complain about who's in office or what's doing what. Miles Garrett's the opposite. You wanna not vote, and then you wanna bitch about who the president, who your mayor is, who whatever.
About your team sucking.
Okay, dude. You know,
It's
you dug your own grave on that one, man. You took the money and you stayed in a shitty situation, and now, yeah, reporters are just doing their job now because, yeah, hey, how do you feel about staying here and having and breaking a franchise record in a single game?
that you said a couple years ago.
Yeah, and
Eh,
and you lose. It's not a big surprise that you lost. It's
no,
not
it's
it's not a
not.
big surprise that you're setting franchise records to a shitty franchise.
Eh,
Like,
that was just one of the things that really appalled me when he signed the deal. I was like, okay, well now you can't complain
Right.
You requested a trade. I believe that trade request is still on his Twitter of
Yeah.
when he put out the I've appreciated your time, Cleveland
Yeah.
and all that jazz, but I am now publicly requesting a trade from the Cleveland Browns. Like,
Hmm.
okay, cool. And then however long it was, oh, breaking. Myles Garrett signs a, however many year, $40 million a year average. I'm like, okay. So it was kind of about the money then, huh?
Yeah.
Because listen, everything's got a price. Who said
That's what
that?
the $1 million man says, dude.
Hmm.
Everybody's got a prize.
And and the fact that you can get it because he's an all-time great player.
Hmm.
Obviously, as a Steelers fan, there's always the him versus TJ Watt, and it makes me laugh because it's funny to piss off Brown's Twitter. Um, but the fact that he had a legendary performance on Sunday, and then they asked him, "Oh, well, how do you feel about? I mean, is it tough to have this performance and not win?" And then he just flat out say, "It's getting tired of you asking the same questions every week." And it's like, well, dude,
Yeah.
you signed on the
Yeah.
dotted line to pay to continue to play here.
And it really makes you question like about like different athletes and what they prioritize. Like, do you prioritize winning or do you prioritize just making a living? Like,
Some
you
players are
know, I
genuinely like, "This is my 9 to 5."
right. And that's okay. I mean, you're
Right.
skilled enough to get there and whatever, and winning doesn't matter to everyone, but like usually, I mean, usually when you win, money comes along with it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can get your bag and just be like, all right, dude, like I'm never gonna win a championship. I'm never really gonna be in contention, but